We're going to see if this reign lasts for 30 days or 2 years or a 1,000-year Reich, because that is what these people have set themselves up for.
And I believe that they need to move from saying, well, I don't like his tweets, but, you know, the economy's doing okay. They need to move from there to reality, which is that we have a white nationalist president who's a threat to American democracy.
Not only is Donald Trump a white supremacist sympathizer, I think he identifies with this notion of white supremacy, this notion of preservation of white culture.
This is about black versus white. This is about Donald Trump's appeal to racism, and it just happens all the time, and we never say it, or we don't say it enough for what it is, but that's what's going on.
He went full Hitler and admitted he's a nationalist. We can stop calling it a dog whistle.
Look at what his slogan, Make America Great Again, means. We know what it means. We know what it meant. Make America white again.
You have a Republican Party who is giving aid and comfort to the Proud Boys and to white nationalists, and they become the party of white nationalists and all of their hatred.
A guy who was sending a message by time and time again, tweeting about baseball or talking about his bad hair day there, that was done intentionally to send a message to white nationalists.
I didn't think white people would put him in office. So here he is running around the country, appealing to our darker angels, appealing to our hatreds and fears.
Do they agree with him, or is he using some sort of like cult-like force to try to make them see that?
We're going to right this ship. We are going to right the ship. There's no way that he's going to prevail because he's evil. He's dark. It's the opposite of what America stands for.
The President of the United States is racist. A lot of us already knew that.
Kanye West is engaging in one of the most nefarious practices yet. A black body and brain are the warehouse for the articulation and expression of anti-black sentiments that have been chin-checked by people with far more rigorous credentials. This is white supremacy by ventriloquism. A black mouth is moving, but white racist ideals are flowing from Kanye West's mouth.
Kanye West is what happens when Negroes don't read. And we have this now, and now Donald Trump is going to use it and pervert it.
The thing about Trump, though, is that he's the recruiter in chief. He is
for ISIS.
He is basically working with ISIS to kill us.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did. I mean, the way he talks, the way he that he allows these people, the way he winks and nods to these groups, the way he says, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm a nationalist.
He wants to send the military to the border, so.
I want to send the military to the White House to get him.
Gene.
I don't even know if we're going to get to 2020 as a democracy.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
I don't want to have that fight with you.
Hey, it's okay.
We'll have another fight with you.
Leslie, it's okay. In the meantime, I'm president and you're not.
Speaking of our great president, what do you guys think of my new JFK Trump shirt?
What is an NPC?
You don't know this meme?
Is that a Scientology thing?
No, non-player character.
Non-player character?
What, you don't know about this? Do I get to tell you the NPC meme?
Yes.
This is the most important meme of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Breaking it down as quickly as possible. I'm going to show my age.
Okay.
When we were younger, we played games like Final Fantasy and Ultima, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in those games, you go to like the armor store or the weapon store, and you buy your sword or you buy your armor.
Right.
There's a guy running that store within the game.
Yes.
He does not exist outside of that store.
Right.
That character, all he does is buy armor and sell armor. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a kid. You go there at midnight, he's there. You go there at 8 a.m., he's there.
Right.
He's the player characters you're playing. He's the non-player character. And the point this meme makes is the vast majority of humans are non-player characters. They have no mind outside their programming. So they call it MSNPC, or they'll call it NPC as the network. And you'll go, like the press corps, they'll be like, Orange Man bad, impeach 45, Russia. And that's all they know how to say. And you see this on Twitter, where it's one thing when people say cliched ideas, but they'll say cliched ideas in a cliched way.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have no mind. You're just repeating what has been programmed to you in your script. And as soon as you mention certain terms, there's just a knee-jerk speech that they give. And once you identify it, it's like the Matrix. Like you see Agent Smith everywhere.
Yeah. There's also a weird laziness to that.
Yes.
That there's some people that know that that's what that is, and they accept it, and they just do it anyway.
Right.
And because they know they can get away with it.
Yes, yes.
You see that in journalism, too.
Well, journalism are, they had a pull up Maddow NPC because there's a picture of her. It says, tonight on MSNPC, Orange Man Bad. Or like the Angry Intellectual Show, I think they call her. It's hilarious. And the Twitter freaked the fuck out and started banning a lot of these accounts because this is really calling the bluff on a lot of these people. Like these.
Why did Twitter ban the accounts?
Because they say it's dehumanizing. Well, they didn't give a reason, but that's the ostensible reason, theoretically. Twitter never explains.
It's dehumanizing to call someone a non-player character?
Well, in a way, if you're saying they have no mind or soul.
But is it okay to call them a basic bitch?
Yes, apparently.
That's super similar.
What about calling someone a fucking Nazi?
Right. Why is that so easy?
Because when you're calling someone Nazi, you are reading them effectively out of the human race. You're saying this person is not deserving of any semblance of decency or fairness. And that's not a crazy perspective to have.
It's the ultimate subhuman designation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the new N-word, right?
Yeah.
Nazi.
It is. But it's actually like really easy to say.
You can't pull it up?
Oh, it's like not the actual thing you asked for, but there's memes of her as this.
Yeah, that's the one, the third one. That one, that right there.
Oh, well. That's...
The Outraged Intellectual Show. What's really hilarious is listening to liberals go off on her, like real progressives, like Jimmy Dore.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
Jimmy
he's
Dore,
great.
Michael Tracy, Glenn Greenwald, none of them follow me. I wish they would. But I hate when the right thinks everyone on the left's the same.
Yeah.
There are many people on the left who are not PC, who are brilliant, who have left-wing ideas and convictions, and they call shit out.
But the percentage of them in comparison to the percentage that just follow the narrative is so small.
But we were just talking about earlier, 90-10. 90% of any population are going to be NPCs, and 10% are going to be the innovators.
The Democratic Party is now split between the moderate Nancy Pelosi wing. Yes, I said that phrase, moderate Nancy Pelosi wing. And I say moderate not because she's moderate, but because compared to the intersectional coalition about to take over the Democratic House, she's a quote-unquote moderate. And this is the battle, the intersectional coalition and Nancy Pelosi. There is a piece by the New York Times, Cheryl Gay Stolberg writing, "Meet the new House Democrats. They may not toe the party line." There is a former NFL linebacker, a climate scientist, and a rapper with a Harvard Law degree. There's one immigrant from Somalia and another from Ecuador. There are two former CIA officials, an Air Force veteran, a former Navy helicopter pilot, and a retired Marine commander, all of them women, not to mention a pediatrician and a human rights advocate. But these and other newly elected House Democrats arrive in Washington for their orientation this week. They will reflect the most diverse, most female freshman class in history. The class is ideologically diverse as well. And herein lies the problem for Democrats. We're going to get into that problem in just 1 second. So the big problem for Democrats is that their caucus is pretty fractious. Half their caucus realizes that there is severe danger in going too far to the left, that the Democrats who won, including Kyrsten Sinema in Arizona, who campaigned as much more of a moderate than she actually is, right? She actually embraced the idea of sending troops down to the border, for example. She refused to come out in favor of other Democratic officials in her own state, and that's probably why she won in Arizona. The moderates won, but the radicals in the Democratic base are suggesting that they want more radicalism. More cowbell is the answer. Steve Phillips, making that case in the New York Times, says, do the math. Moderate Democrats will not win in 2020. He says, Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams, progressive African-American Democratic candidates, may not have won their races for governor in Florida and Georgia, but the strategy they followed is still the best strategy for Democrats to win, inspiring, mobilizing, and turning out voters of color and progressive whites. I've argued this strategy for years. In my 2016 book, I analyzed President Barack Obama's victories in the context of the country's changing demographics. The implications of the Gillum and Abrams races are profound, and learning the right lessons from 2018 is key for Democrats as they look ahead to the 2020 elections. He says, over the past 20 years, the best performing Democratic candidates in statewide elections in Florida and Georgia have been Mr. Obama, Mr. Gillum, and Ms. Abrams. This year, Ms. Abrams dramatically increased Democratic turnout, garnering more votes than any other Democrat running for any office in the history of Georgia. She did turn out heavy Democratic votes. She still lost in Georgia. If she'd been a moderate black Democrat in Georgia, then she probably would have won. She did not win because she was not, in fact, a moderate black Democrat, and she was unable to turn out enough suburban votes to bring her victory, even in an election where the Georgia 6th swung to the Democrats. So the Democrats are in danger of falling off a cliff, with regard to their own radicalism. And that makes some sense. That makes some sense because the Democratic base is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the intersectional coalition built by Barack Obama. And this is a coalition built by the Obamas.